And when it mattered most, Australia showed us their big match pedigree, and India once again fell short. Welcome to the shiny side, where we look back at the final we've just had. And I have with me Umair Qazi and Imran Aslam. How are you doing, Imran?
Good, Farid. How are you?
I'm very well. Umair, what's the sentiment?
Yeah, I mean, again, a one-sided final. But Australia, the big game giants, they're always there. Never say die. Did it again.
Yeah.
Never seem to stop them, right? When it comes to the big games, it's just impossible.
Imran, do you want to do the 30-second summary for us?
Sure. All right. So Australia won the toss, and contrary to I think almost everybody's expectations, Cummins chose to bowl first, which was a big move. India came out. Rohit came out, all guns blazing. Got off to a flyer, 80 odd in 10 overs. Once Head took a spectacular catch to dismiss Rohit. Once Rohit got out, it was tough going for India from then on. Australia really tightened the screws on them, kept it tight up for a while. Kohli and KL Rahul put on a good partnership, but seemed to be too slow. Australia kept picking up regular wickets. Bowled India out for 240. They started the chase as we had thought they would, aggressively, but Bumrah, Shami picked up a couple of quick wickets, and Australia was in some kind of trouble at 40 odd for three, but then just an unbelievable partnership between Head and Labuschagne took them home almost took them home. Maxwell just had to come in and club one for two to finish it off.
Cool, 43 seconds.
Wickets and 6 overs to spare.
Good stuff. So I guess today, before getting into the game, I just want to talk about what we've just seen now. So now Australia has won 6 of the 13 ODI World Cups. They won 4 of the last 6, right?
5 of the last 7.
5 of the last 7, wow. And India's wait for a title continues. Since the last time India won an ICC title, Sri Lanka, West Indies, Pakistan, England, and Australia have won a title. In fact, Australia has won 3, England has won 2. So, Umair, what's your reaction to, I guess, the result in terms of, I guess, where Australia and the Indian teams are right now?
The best meme out of all of this is the one I saw where it said, last 10 years, ICC trophies, India 0, Pakistan 1.
Yeah, that's been the case for a while now, right? Because we obviously have a more recent win than they've had.
And Pakistan's still the last Asian team to win an ICC trophy. But anyway, coming back to India, look, I think it's extremely heartbreaking for them, right? To lose like this. And for Rohit Sharma, who's been a completely selfless captain, seeing him cry and shed some tears. It probably his last World Cup also. It was a dream he had. And they dominated. For 6 weeks, it was an exhibition of the Indian team going around the country, playing in 9 different cities and just dominating the whole tournament. And then, we kept saying they have to have one bad game. It unfortunately happened in the final. Had it happened in the knockout stages, maybe it didn't happen now. And for Australia, I don't know. I said it in one of your shows. Bring any other 11 players, give them the Australia shirts, bring them from Australia, and they'll win the World Cup. That's just what they do in knockouts. I mean, I don't know. They've had outstanding 6 months, right? Asian Test Championship, World Test Championship.
World Test Championship.
The Ashes, and now this. It's just.
I mean, I think on the preview as well, Umair, I think I was the only one who actually predicted an Australia win, because for me, I've just seen too much cricket to be able to bet against them, right? So, Imran, how do you see like the result overall, and where do you, in terms of Australia's legacy, and would you say, I mean, this is definitely the best Australian side since the 90s side, I would say. But how do you see this, Imran?
An amazing win, like we said, like the big game mentality of this Australian team is just unmatched. They come into the match, and today, they came on, and you could sense from the beginning they were switched on, and there was something special happening, and the way they kept themselves composed when Rohit was going all guns blazing, didn't panic at all. The kind of captaincy Cummins did, just absolutely brilliant. It's just something in their mental strength. I don't know what it is about them, but just this big game mentality that they have is just unbelievable, and they keep churning out title after title. Right? I mean, obviously, I feel sad for India having played such a great tournament to falter at the last hurdle, but just unbelievable.
I guess especially feel for Kohli and Rohit in my view, right? Because those are guys who've had brilliant tournaments, who like we said, probably 2 of the best players we've seen, and may not get another World Cup to play. But I guess we have to talk about the toss. So when we did the preview, I think we all thought this was one ground where if there was any bias, it would be towards chasing. But given that this is a final, Umair said it would be a good toss to lose, but generally we said nobody would actually have the guts to chase, even though that was the thing to do here. But we underestimated the kind of guts Australia has. because clearly they went for it, right? And everybody was like, "What are they doing?" And people were pulling their hair out at that moment. And clearly, Umair, it looked like a great call they made at that time.
No, absolutely, totally gutsy call. And at the time of the toss, I thought that Pat Cummins' decision was 50% born out of fear of India and Virat Kohli chasing, and 50% strategic, where they felt if they could get the top 3 or 4 wickets quickly, they could have a middling total chase. So that's what I thought where the decision came out of. But yeah, amazing guts to make that call, because I don't know any other captain who would choose to bowl first in a World Cup final.
True. Imran, your take on the toss decision?
Very, very bold move. Like very, very bold move. Like Ranatunga is the last captain who won a toss and chose to chase in a World Cup final. And back then, we talked about how brave Sri Lanka was doing that, and saying very, very bold move. And I'm sure a lot of people thought he had got it wrong when India was 84 in 10 overs, but he held his nerve. He kept bringing the changes, and just really, really great captaincy. All in really great captaincy, I think.
And I guess this is something, Umair, I keep harping on about in the last 2 India games, right? But I've been talking about how India's dependence on Kohli and Rohit is still a thing. And the average score normally at which both of them have got out has been 237 for India. The maximum runs they've added before today has been about 55. Since India has added once they got out. And we keep saying that, forget about the power play. Even if Kohli and Rohit go under 50, if under 150, they would still be in trouble. And today when they got at 148, I texted you saying, let's see what happens. And today we saw that, right? So once those two were gone, the innings never went anywhere. They added about 90 odd, which is the maximum they've added. But again, this showed, I guess, how reliant they still are on Kohli and Rohit. Right?
Absolutely. Any Indian innings is totally reliant on Virat Kohli. Rohit Sharma still gave them the start that he always does. And Kohli was key. If he stayed till the end, India would have definitely crossed 300. But yeah, after Kohli went, the innings absolutely went nowhere. I mean, KL Rahul looked all at sea, even though he got top scored, but he faced 110 balls or so, right? Sky couldn't get the ball off the square. That innings just did not take off. And they're extremely reliant on both of them, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. And I mean, it's been the case for a while now. And
Imran, your take on that, especially in terms of how Iyer and the others couldn't really show up?
Yeah, I think it is. So obviously the reliance on Kohli and Rohit is definitely continues, and we've seen it many times before. We saw it again today. I think the last instance I can recall off the top of my head of Kohli and Rohit getting dismissed cheaply was against the first game against us in the Asia Cup, which eventually ended up rained out. But India, I think, bowled out for 240 odd in that match as well. We saw the same thing today. All of these young batsmen that they have, KL Rahul, Ishan Kishan, Iyer, and all these guys, they've played some brilliant knocks here and there, but all of them have been played. Most of the knocks in this World Cup have been played with Kohli at the other end. And it's a completely different ball game when you have to do it not with Kohli, but you have to do it with like Jadeja at the other end, that was the case today. It's a completely different ball game, and the pressure showed on them.
So the last 6 batsmen, Jadeja onwards, combined for only about 55 runs, right? Which is pretty poor, which is kind of sums up where India was today. But I guess a word for Australia's bowlers, especially how good Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood, all of them were at different phases of the game, and how they, and again, supported by brilliant fielding. Umair?
It's amazing. I mean, the way Australia came out against South Africa in the semi-final in the field, they were charged up. They were on it. They saved a lot of runs, and they did the same today. You could tell from their fielding that they were not giving any easy runs away. And I think Harsha Bhogle in the commentary called it a high security prison cell where there's no escape for the Indian batsmen. So totally supported by the fielders. And I mean, Stark, again, he had a very average tournament, but in the knockouts, in the semi-final and final, both three wickets each in both the games. Brilliant. Pat Cummins was brilliant. His first 3 overs went for 6 runs, I think. The ball he got Iyer with is top notch. And the spinners, I think Maxwell. Well, I think the turning point was Travis Head's catch of Rohit Sharma. As soon as he got that catch, I was like, these are the type of catches that win your games.
True.
And that won for them.
Imran, on their bowling?
Their bowling was great. I think more than the bowling, the captaincy and the field placings today were just like phenomenal, right? We have to talk about that. coming in in the very beginning, keeping, like a sweeper cover out for Rohit. Towards the end, when Sky was batting, never seen such a fine third man before towards the end of the game as they had for Sky, and got a single. So I think the field placings they had a very, very clear plan for every single batsman. And the way he was bringing about the bowling changes, if I'm not mistaken, Cummins has bowled today 10 one-over spells. He did not allow anybody to settle for even a second, right? It was constant changes. He kept shuffling the bowlers between Zampa, Maxwell himself, all shuffling, constant shuffling, amazing bowling changes, very, very proactive captaincy. And I think that's what really kept India bogged down.
Yeah.
They just
to be honest, even as a fan, I was struggling to, hey, who is bowling right now? Because they kept bringing in the changes, right? So I'm sure the batters also had the same confusion. But I guess moving on to the second innings, right? And this is where it gets really interesting. Now, when you come to a knockout, the most important thing you need to do, in my view, is stick to what's got you so far. Don't make changes. India today decided to bring Shami on with the new ball. And Siraj has been, he's had a couple of bad maybe overs here and there, but I think Shami coming on in the 8th or 9th over has superb control on the ball. That's slightly old, and Siraj's strength is the new ball. So was that the first sign of weakness, the fact that they decided to change that, Umair?
I think so, for sure. And the moment Siraj did not bowl inside the first 7-8 overs, I was telling my friends that who was watching the game with that Siraj now is going to be ineffective completely. So they have literally given their 5th bowler who could be hit around by anyone who's at the crease. Because Siraj with the old ball is not effective at all. And had they given him 3-4 overs with the new ball, gotten Shami in the 7th, 8th, like they had been doing, I don't know, might have been different. And we saw Shami bowl 2 or 3 wides, 1 wide went down to the boundary. So that showed the lack of control with the new ball. And him coming in the 8th, 9th over has proven really good for India. But to be honest, panic for sure.
Like I think somebody else said this, right? But like if they were not going to open with him, they may as well have played Ashwin on this track, right? They're like, what's the point of playing Siraj if you're not with the new ball? And Imran, I guess here we have to talk about this. So Travis Head, Australia put him in the squad with a fractured arm. There was a lot of criticism because they were initially they had about 13 fit players, but they persisted with him, and he semi-finalist, man of the match, finalist, man of the match, one of the best knocks I can remember in a World Cup final for sure, given the circumstances he came in. And that catch again to dismiss Rohit Sharma, his double wicket strike in the semi-finals. Imran, how do you see Head and his role today?
Amazing, really amazing performance. Like we talked about it multiple times before. They carried him through the first half of the tournament when he wasn't even in India. He was sitting in Australia, and he flew in halfway through the tournament, got a century in his first game. Man of the match in the semi-final and the final. Man of the match before this in the World Test Championship final. I mean, the guy's just doing it all. Like I can remember, like from my memory, Shane Warne in 1999 World Cup, man of the match in the semi-finals and the finals. So that's the pedigree that Travis Head has put himself up in place with today to get a man of the match with both the semi-final and the final of the World Cup. Amazing stuff, really.
And I think he also got 100 in that New Zealand game, right?
He did.
He was also man of the match then. Yeah, exactly. So you have another one?
All over the park. Yeah, the T20 World Cup 2009, Shahid Afridi, semi-final, final, man of the match.
That's correct. Yeah, I think he may have been player of the tournament also with that one. I think.
Yeah. He was.
No, he was player of the tournament 2007, 2009.
Oh yeah. You're right.
True.
Yes.
True. And I guess so. Again, like I think at the interval, we all thought that the top 3 for Australia would be key. Obviously, Head, they all would come, all guns blazing, and the score of 240. If one of them comes off, it'll be fine. Warner went. I mean, the ball was doing a fair bit at the beginning. Would you say? I mean, I thought Bumrah was really good. Again, I think with Siraj not bowling at that time, I think they really missed a trick. But if you talk about Labuschagne, right? So on the preview, I think some of us said should he be in there or not. Omar suggested Smith should be dropped. Some of us said Stoinis should be in. But again, this guy wasn't meant to be in the World Cup squad. He wasn't in India I think in South Africa for the series before this. But somehow he's ended up playing, I think, 9 out of 11 games. And how key was that knock today, Umair?
Yeah, no, he batted amazingly well. And look, strike rate didn't matter in this middling chase. He was just there supporting Travis Head, who had taken charge. And yeah, what a turnaround for him. They brought him into the squad when Ashton Agar got injured. A spinner got injured, and they brought in an extra batsman thinking they'll need cover for Travis Head for the first few games. And probably their plans changed mid-tournament, where they realized that, let the top 3 go hard, and then you've got Smith and Labuschagne to just strike it around and play the middle overs. if there's a collapse or if there's need for consolidation. But yeah, he stood there. The key was staying at the wicket, and he did that today. Delivered very well.
Yeah, I think one thing which somebody mentioned, it's an interesting point, right? They're like, if you can't send your number 6 to bat in the 32nd over, then maybe you've got the wrong guy there, right? So they sent in Jadeja over Sky, and they were trying to hold Sky back. Is that a point where I feel like, hang on, maybe they were better off having Ishan Kishan in the 11? Umair, is that a fair question?
I think completely fair. Look, and if you've got Sky only for the last 10 overs, then he should not be a number 6. He should be a number 7. He should have another batsman at number 6. And I mean, look, Sky, we've seen is out of his depth in ODI cricket. He's a great T20 batsman. He's shown that time and time again. But in ODIs, he's out of his depth. And Pandya's loss showed today. I mean, had Pandya been there, it may have been a different ball game. So India did miss him. They didn't miss him in any of the other games. They were totally dominating. But today, it showed what Pandya brings for this Indian team.
And, you know, we spoke about this, right? When your top 5 are doing so well, even if you have a long tail like they did, that's fine. But, you know, there will be days, right? There will be days where the tail gets called in. And I think Vivek spoke about this, right, on the last game, right? He said that if it gets to the point where the tails are getting involved with the bat, then, you know, Australia have the edge because, again, India's tail is not really done much before this game. They're only, Imran, you know, the last squad only batted 6 times so far total. So clearly they haven't even had a chance to bat, let alone what kind
I think Siraj batted today. Siraj batted for the first time this World Cup.
That's correct. He hasn't batted before today. I mean, I guess something which I would love to hear your view on, both of you. So, you know, there's this thing people say, "Gee, X team deserve to win." Now, I am of the view, generally speaking, in sport, there's no such thing as deserve to win. In a football match, you may have all the chances, but if you score less goals, you don't deserve to win. In a tournament, if you don't win the final, you don't deserve to win. So clearly, India was, again, they had a great run, loved watching them play. But I don't buy the whole, though, they deserve to win argument. The team that won the final deserved to win the World Cup. Would you guys have a view on that? Imran, you go first.
No, I think definitely Australia today should outlast India across every department. And if there is a deserving winner, I mean, Australia deserve to win this World Cup. Yeah, definitely. I think they showed it today. They've beaten every single team in the World Cup. So they lost the first 2 games. They lost those 2 games to Australia, to South Africa.
I didn't realize that.
So they've actually beaten both South Africa and India in the knockouts. Wow. So they've beaten every single team that they've played in the World Cup. And they deserve to win, for sure.
It comes full circle. Umair, your view on that?
And they won it when it mattered, right? Against India and South Africa. No, I agree with your viewpoint, Fareez. There's no such thing as this such team deserve to win. The one who wins deserves to win. You know, and I say this also when a lot of people were saying Pakistan does not deserve to qualify for the semi-finals. New Zealand is the most deserving team. Had Pakistan qualified, they would have because they had more points than New Zealand and a better run rate than New Zealand, right? Which means they deserve it.
There's no morality in any points. One point is not better than the other point, right? Like if you get more points or better than another, you deserve it. Absolutely.
The only exception is if you win on a boundary count back.
Yes, I agree with that.
I mean, that's the rule. That's the rule. But was this one of the most one-sided finals you guys remember? Well, I guess 2015 was a bit one-sided.
99.
We all remember the heartbreak of 99.
I mean, come on, वो तो बहुत पुराना हो गया. But
yeah, 2003. All of Australia's World Cup wins: 99, 2003, 2007, 2015. Now these are the 5 out of the last 7, all one-sided.
Yeah. I was watching the Wisden podcast the other day, and they were like, "Okay, who do you support?" And Yas Rana, who's the host, he's like, "Hang on, if Australia win this, we supposedly have the best white ball era of English cricket, which starts with an Australian win in 2015, which ends with a win here, and in the middle they won a T20 World Cup. So how can this be the best era for England in white ball cricket?" But like, you know, that's just Australia, I guess. We all have a, you know. But when I was watching this game, in the end, I was actually thinking of the time when we were watching Wade hit Pakistan for those 6s, right? Because I had, again, a lot of flashbacks were coming for me. But I guess before we finish, guys, in terms of the legacy of this Indian side, so we touched upon this before, they've lost 6 out of 9 knockouts now in the only ones they won were the last semi-final and then 2 to Bangladesh, right? So is it just a matter of time where they need to play more, or do you think there is a problem they have in converting on those big crucial games?
Look, I think I don't know what it is, why they fail to cross this final hurdle. They definitely have the ability to, right? They've shown that. 2015, they were undefeated. They lost the semi-final. 2019, I think they just lost 1 game, lost the semi-final. And then now we saw that in the Champions Trophy, the one Pakistan won. India was undefeated, lost the final after beating Pakistan comprehensively in the group stages. So I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the pressure of the moment, the situation. They definitely have the goods to deliver this, right? But legacy, look, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, I've said this before, they're the best white ball batsmen that we're watching right now ever. They will go down. That will be their legacy, irrespective of whether they won a World Cup or not. Kohli has actually won one. Rohit Sharma will probably not play an ODI World Cup again. Kohli is still fit enough to play another 10 years, maybe. I think he'll definitely play the next ODI World Cup. He's really fit and he'll be around. But yeah, I mean, no silverware. I don't know how much that really counts, but look, at the end of the day, they're great batsmen and they will go down in history.
I agree with those two, but this is supposedly India's best era of the cricket, right? And not having silverware, I'm sure, is definitely a question mark. But you can even argue that cost Kohli the captaincy a couple of years ago, or whenever he lost it.
I would say probably the era under Dhoni was probably their golden cricket era. That was their best era, for sure. They won ODI World Cup, they won Champions Trophy, they won T20
clearly
World
now
Cup.
It seems like it, right? Most Indians would probably say it's now, but if you look at the performance and the titles, then it has to be under Dhoni, right? All white ball titles in the six-year period,
Yeah, I think they won the Test Mace during Dhoni's time. They were ranked #1 and they got the Test Mace.
I feel like they also did that with Kohli.
I think so.
Yeah.
They were ranked #1 in 2011, I remember. Yeah.
Okay.
Before they got whitewashed by England.
Yeah, that was Dhoni.
But I think they've also got again since. I mean, again, I think they were #1 in Test for a while in the middle. Yeah. Imran, your take on the legacy for India?
Yeah, so I think this team, like over the past years, they have done a lot, right? I mean, they have done a lot across both white ball and red ball cricket, right? So yes, they haven't won the tournaments, but they've gone to the semi-final and final of 2 consecutive World Cups. They've gone to T20 World Cup semi-finals. They've gone to Test Championship finals. They won series in Australia, Test series in Australia, in West Indies, South Africa, England. So overall, I think they have a lot of things they've done well, a lot to write home about. But yeah, the one thing missing is one tournament. Even if they'd won the Test Championship, for example, you could say that they went all the way and they won the Test Championship. That's the one thing.
They've lost 2 finals now for that, right? They've lost both finals.
Exactly, they've lost 2 finals. But the thing is, they made it to those 2 finals, right? So you have to give them credit for that, right?
No, for sure.
Consistently been playing such good cricket to keep making it to these finals.
I guess the last thing is, so I'm not sure if you guys have been following this, but since the last T20 World Cup, India hasn't played Rohit or Kohli in any T20s. They've had Hardik Pandya leading. They haven't said there's been a change in captaincy, but they keep saying they've been rested. Perhaps because the ODI World Cup was around the corner. Now the T20 World Cup is in 6 months' time. Will we see Rohit and Kohli come right back in and Rohit leading India again in that format, Umair? Or do you think they'll, especially after what's happened today, do you see Pandya becoming captain? And if Rohit and Kohli play, they play under him. How would you go about it, Umair? What do you see happening?
So, I mean, I thought at that time that the shift was happening without them actually saying it was happening, right? And now they've got a series against Australia that starts in 4 or 5 days.
Starts in 3 days, which is insane, but
right, crazy. And then they travel to South Africa in the first week of December for another T20 series.
Yeah.
I think this will tell us the direction they're taking, especially because Pandya is injured.
Yeah.
And had India won this World Cup, I would have said Rohit and Kohli will probably not play T20s and they'll let Pandya and the new generation go ahead. But given that they've not won this, and maybe they really want an ICC trophy,
but I
maybe
guess
Rohit and Kohli continue. I don't know.
I mean, maybe they continue, but that's not how that decision should be made, though, right? What's best for Indian cricket?
No, I agree. You're right. You're right.
What do you think will happen? What's your prediction? Do you feel like they will continue, or do you think the authorities want Pandya to lead that now?
One, I don't know what the status of Pandya's injury is, right?
That is true.
We have to figure that out. And then Pandya being injury prone, I don't know how he will be 6 months later also. Maybe KL Rahul leads them in this Australia series. Rohit and Kohli, I don't see them playing this Australia series.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in South Africa next month. But it's a tough call. Yeah, I don't know. I can't figure it out.
Yeah. Because now this is Rohit's second. This is Rohit's second tournament as captain, right? T20 World Cup last year and now this one. So lost a game in each of them, but it's a knockout. So I guess and again comprehensive losses to England and this time around. Also. Umair, Imran, what's your view on that on the T20 captaincy?
I think I would think they would continue. Like once Pandya is fit, I think they'll probably continue with it because That's probably part of a long-term transition plan, as Umair is saying. But given the way Rohit is batting right now, the form he is in, I definitely see him walking back into the T20 side, at least as a batsman.
Yeah. I mean, the way I see it, I guess it'll probably make sense to have Kohli and Rohit in. They play the next T20 World Cup, which is in 6 months' time, and that might be their last one then, right? So and then Pandya takes over. Even if they play as a batsman, but Pandya takes over as T20 captain.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Okay, good stuff, guys. Any last thoughts on the World Cup? How it's been for you, Umair? You want to go first?
Look, it's been exciting. A great 6 weeks. I enjoyed the cricket. There are some good games. There are some amazing individual performances. Rohit Sharma was absolutely amazing. His selfless approach at the top of the order. Virat Kohli. Oh, so Virat Kohli, the fact that he idolizes Sachin Tendulkar and broke his records, I think it's sort of I don't know what to call it, but 2003 when Australia beat India in the final, Sachin Tendulkar was player of the tournament there as well. Right, so Virat Kohli was player of the tournament here. So I mean, he's sort of following his idol's footsteps.
Yeah.
Sad end for Rohit Sharma, but look, no, it's been a good World Cup, and yeah, this is a great point that Imran pointed out. Australia has actually beaten all the other 9 teams in this tournament, which. And what does one say about this Australian team, man? I think you said it right. Since '96, it's either the host or Australia that has won the World Cup.
Yeah, every single time.
5 out of the last 7. I mean, total dominance of the sport, man. It's just quite unbelievable.
So the next one is South Africa, Australia, which means Australia.
You don't see South Africa, no way they're winning it.
No way. Imran, any final thoughts on how the tournament's been?
Yeah, I think it's been a good World Cup. I mean, start was a bit slow. I think we had quite a few one-sided games in the beginning, but then once things warmed up with we had a few good close games in the end. Knockouts were good. Semi-finals were good. Good. I mean, final was a bit one-sided, but I think all in all, the way the Australian team improved throughout the tournament, every game they kept ticking box after box, the way they evolved throughout the tournament and eventually came full circle, really kudos to them for putting in a complete performance.
Good stuff. So guys, and thank you to both of you for being on the shiny side multiple times during the tournament. It's been great fun. And again, the shiny side will continue after the World Cup, not daily, but I'm sure we'll be back once or twice a week with whatever's happening in the world of sports. You'll be hearing from us and seeing these familiar faces. And if you enjoyed what we just put out there, please like the video, leave a comment in terms of what you think, where India went wrong. And we'll be back probably within the week with more cricket-related discussions. In the meantime, stay tuned to the shiny side.